We are in Warm Springs, Georgia, a community of about 425 people. It's about 1 hour south of Atlanta. And believe it or not, hundreds of thousands of people come here every year. And we decided to come for a couple of days, and we're going to show you the top 3 things to do when visiting Warm Springs, Georgia. So the first thing to do when you get to Warm Springs is to explore the downtown area. It's only about 1 block long, but it has several stores that you can visit. Antique shops, boutiques, restaurants, a bakery, all sorts of stuff to do to spend the day. No visit to Warm Springs would be complete without a visit to the Bullock House. This is an excellent place to eat, so bring your friends and your family and enjoy a lunch or a dinner. So tonight I am lucky to be joined by 3 lovely ladies. My lovely mother, my beautiful sister, and my gorgeous wife. The Bullock House has good old Southern comfort food like fried chicken, catfish, collard greens. What has been some of your food? Oh, butter beans. Here is going to be some tasty hush puppies and catfish.
The salmon was good.
How do you guys like it?
It's delicious.
Delicious? You will not go away hungry at the Bullock House. Although you'll have plenty to eat at a buffet, save room for dessert. We're getting a couple of Southern classics, banana pudding and peach cobbler, so make sure you save room for that. Take a good bite, Claudia. And I will not share this. Downtown Warm Springs, Georgia is a really cool place to visit, but in the surrounding area there is even more to do and see. So the second thing you should do when you come visit Warm Springs, Georgia is to make it out to the Franklin Roosevelt State Park, and in particular come to Dowdle's Knob. This is filled with both hiking and history. What put the little town of Warm Springs on the map was President Franklin Roosevelt. He started coming here in the 1920s, and in fact he loved it so much that in 1933
he built a small home here. Eventually, during the time period of his presidency, it became known as the Little White House. On the top of Dowdall's Knob today stands a statue dedicated to Roosevelt and his favorite place on top of the mountain.
So the park is a fairly small park that sits right on the cliff. And it was at this location that Franklin Roosevelt came to relax and enjoy himself anytime he was visiting Warm Springs.
Sitting on the very edge of Dowdall's Knob is a barbecue pit that Roosevelt himself had built back in the 1930s. So there's plenty of history to enjoy during your time on top of Dowdall's Knob. If you love to hike, this is also the place to be. There are miles and miles of trails to explore while spending a day at the Roosevelt State Park.
So a little bit down the trail, you come across a place called Elephant Rock. Supposedly, it is a rock shaped like an elephant. So let's go check it out. All right, so here it is. This is Elephant Rock. You can kind of see its trunk there, and ear there. And you have to use your imagination a little bit, but I think it does look like an elephant.
So be sure to drive out to Dowdall's Knob and enjoy some history and hiking at the Roosevelt State Park.
The top thing to do, of course, when visiting Warm Springs, Georgia, is to come out to the Little White House. The Little White House was the presidential retreat of Franklin Roosevelt, and this is what brings tens of thousands of people to Warm Springs every year.
In 1921, Franklin Roosevelt was stricken with polio, and it left him paralyzed from the waist down. In 1924, a friend told him about the Warm Springs of Georgia. This was a place that was believed could offer some healing and relief to his polio. He fell in love with Warm Springs, and in fact, he developed a polio rehabilitation center right outside of town. In 1933, he built this small house. He would come here time and time again while he was the president, often spending 2 to 3 weeks at a time. What amazes me about this house is its simplicity. It only has 2 bedrooms, a foyer, a living room, and a kitchen. But this was a place that Roosevelt loved to come and get away from the politics of Washington and just rest and relax. On April the 12th, 1945, while sitting at this desk, he collapsed. His friends took him to the bedroom. His doctor rushed to his side, but there was nothing that could be done. At 3:30 p.m., President Roosevelt passed away at the Little White House in Warm Springs. So whether you are wandering the grounds of the Little White House, hiking the trails of the Roosevelt State Park, or strolling through the streets of Warm Springs, I am sure you will have an experience you will never forget.